Once again, our objective for today, I can solve and graph quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. And if you guys notice, we're still on the same concept. The only thing today, we're going to be using something different to solve the quadratic equation, which is the quadratic formula. Okay? Once again, we didn't need the Freire model. We already know what quadratic equations are. But we do need to write our 7 steps. Step 1 is set the quadratic equation in standard form. That's the same step that we used for the previous one, right? However, steps 2, 3, and 4 are a little bit different. Step 2 says identify A, B, and C. Step 3, write the quadratic formula. Step 4, substitute A, B, and C into the formula. Step 5, solve. Step 6, graph. Step 7, check. Everybody done copying? Okay, I'll give you guys a little bit more time. So once again, the one thing that you notice that's different from the other steps are these 3 steps. Identify A, B, and C. I'm taking you back to when we were introduced to polynomials. Remember that I had you write it in standard form, and then you identified A, B, and C for the for the expression. However, the quadratic formula is something new. So underneath that, I want you to write quadratic formula. Quadratic formula. Quadratic formula. And here it goes. I'm going to use color, different colors so you guys can see each part. If you have your color pen, use it. And it starts like this. X equals minus, and I'm going to change to red, and I'm going to write the letter B. Once again, I'm going to turn back to black, and it's plus, minus, square root. Turn to red again, B. Then I'm turning back to black, squared minus 4. Then I'm going to change to blue, A, then to green, C, and then to black, and all that over. And notice that the fraction bar is not on the equal sign or the X, just everything else. 2, and then in blue again, I'm going to write the letter A. That's your formula. So now check, yes? This one? Yeah. Plus minus? Oh. Yeah. Okay. Guys, focus please. Really quick. A question came up earlier. Why was this plus minus? So now let me take you back to the beginning of the year. You don't have to write this down. Pens down, eyes up here. I remember when we first introduced square roots that I had you draw a tree, remember? I said, my roots, Mr. Q's roots is my mom, my dad, and yada, yada, yada. You did your own. From there, I gave you guys the number 16, and I asked you, this was in a tree like this, and I said, what are the roots of this square, which is 16, remember that? And then I said, what 2 numbers, or what number times itself gives us the number 16? You said, 4 times 4, and then I said, think about another one, and you said, negative 4 times negative 4. Because negative times a negative is also equal positive 16. Therefore, I said the square root of 16 is plus minus 4. So whenever we're looking at square roots, they need to have a plus minus. That's why this one's right here. Everybody see that? All right. So with that said, that formula is what you're going to need to know in order to do your homework. Therefore, here it goes. Quadratic formula, x equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So you know the quadratic formula? X equals minus b plus I know. Okay, so pretty much that's what the quadratic formula is, and that's what we're going to need for today's lesson. So here we go. Copy this example down, please. Example Q. Example Q, y equals negative 3x squared minus 9x minus 6. Copy that down, please. Yes, write the words where it says solve by factoring and using the quadratic formula. First, I'm going to show you using the quadratic formula, but it says by factoring. Don't we know how to solve these already by factoring? Yes, that's why I want to show you by quadratic formula. Copy that, please. Once again, example Q, and it's y equals negative 3x squared minus 9x minus 6. Okay, I need your full attention, please. Pens and pencils down. I'm going to go through some steps, and I'm going to ask you to copy. We're going to do some of it together, and then at the end, I'm going to ask you again to put your pens, pencils down because there's something that I need to explain. But overall, it's fairly simple if you actually follow the steps. Okay? According to the steps, step 1 says set in standard form. By looking at it, it's already in standard form. What is standard form? From highest degree to lowest degree. Are we there so far? Okay? Step 2, identify A, B, and C. For those of you that forgot, here it goes. A is the coefficient of x squared. What is that? Negative 3. B is the coefficient of the middle term. What is the coefficient? Negative 9. So that one is B. C is the last term, also known as the constant. That's why the letter C or constant. Are we there so far? All right, so step 1, standard form. Step 2, identify A, B, and C. Did we do that? Step 3, write your quadratic formula. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So we got this. So now, copy that, please, and then we'll do the next step together. Go. So far, so good. So step 1, standard form. Step 2, identify A, B, and C. Step 3, write your quadratic formula. Did we do that? Yes. Step 4, substitute A, B, and C. Pens down, eyes up here. Before we substitute, this is what I need you to do every time you write your quadratic formula. Right after that, you need to do this. Rewrite it so that we can substitute. However, stop, pens down. Instead of writing the variables, I want you to open parentheses for every variable in the formula. Okay, and let me explain why. This, even though it's a very simple formula and it's very simple to solve and simplify, some of the mistakes come when you substitute. And let me show you where. Some of you, if you notice, b is a negative 9, right? And look at the beginning of this formula. It starts with negative b. However, for some of you that are not going to use parentheses because you just want to skip steps, some of you are going to make a mistake from the very beginning. Instead of writing negative 9, you're just going to write negative 9. Guess what? It's wrong all the way from the beginning. Everything else, exactly, it should turn positive. But those of you that are not using parentheses are going to make a mistake from the very beginning. So the next 10 steps that you do will be all or nothing. That's why you need to open parentheses. So check this out. Once you open parentheses, you start with the letter A. A is -3. A is found next to the 4, next to the 2. So A is -3, so I write -3 and -3. From there, I go to with B. What is B? -9. That goes at the beginning. So it goes here, -9, and then here, -9. And the last one is C, which is -6. And then I can start simplifying. So copy that for right now, and then we'll simplify together. Here we go. So everybody wrote their substitution, so now let's do the next steps together. So we rewrite x equals, let's see, what is negative times a negative? So we end up with +9 plus minus square root. What is -9 squared? 81. And then we have negative times a negative times a negative is still a negative. 4 times 3 times 6, 72. Over 2 times -3, that's -6. Are we there so far? Okay, let's continue. X equals 9 plus minus square root. Check this out. Everybody look up. 81 minus 72, what is that? 9. That goes in there over -6. Are we there so far? Okay. I'm going to go one step further down. Here it goes. X equals, and I got 9 plus minus, what is the square root of 9? 3, and all that over -6. Give me a second. Are we there so far? All right. So now, pens down, eyes up here. This is where some of you might get confused. That's why I need your full attention. Here we go. So we end up with this. What does this mean? This means that we need to get 2 answers, and let me show you why. Pens down, eyes up here. Notice that this one has plus and minus. You guys see that? That means one answer, I'm going to use just the positive, and for the other one, I'm going to use the negative. So here, I'm going to do that in red so you can see. Pay attention, please. I'm going to write x sub 1, and I'm going to write 9 plus 3 over -6. My other answer, I'm going to write in blue, and I'm going to write it over here, x sub 2. That means that's my second answer. And I'm going to write 9. But instead of plus, now I'm going to write what? -3 over -6. Do you see how it got split up in 2 because of these two? Now let me simplify. What is 9 plus 3? 12 divided by -6. That is -2. Look at this one. What is 9 minus 3? 6 divided by -6. That's -1. And guess what? Those are my roots, my x-intercepts, or my zeros, and these are known as my solutions. Copy that, please. So we finished all the steps. All we need is the last 2. Graph and check. Let's graph this. Here it goes. I'm going to do the graph right here. Okay, let's see. What is my first root? -2, it's right there. And my other root is what? -1, which is right there. And our y-intercept, what is our y-intercept? Let's find out. Let's go look at our equation. Our y-intercept is -6. That's how we get it. And let's write that down here. -6. And here's our parabola. Everybody look up. Careful how you draw this. Look up. I'm going to start with a y-intercept to meet one of the x-intercepts, loop, and all of a sudden it goes down. And notice that it's upside down, yes? Now, if you notice, everybody look up, look at the equation. What is the coefficient of the first term? -6. 3. It's a negative. And look at the direction of this parabola. Upside down. So what if it was positive? It would be right side up. Are we there? Okay. So that's, I just wanted to mention that. So yes. Yeah. Yes. If the first number or the term, the coefficient of the first term is a negative, then this is going to be upside down. Okay? And what is our last step? Check. Let's do that. Check. Let's write our equation, but instead of y, I'm going to open a parentheses equals negative 3. Sorry. Negative 3, open parentheses squared, minus 9, parentheses, minus 6. So let's check. Which point would you like to use? Negative 2, negative 1, or negative 6? Negative 2. Okay, so let's use negative 2. We're going to use this point. So what is the coordinate of that point? Negative 2, 0. So the x is negative 2, the y is 0. So in our equation here, what is y? 0, and x is negative 2, negative 2. So let's simplify that. 0 equals negative 3. Let's see. Before I write that down, what is negative 2 squared?
4.
Positive 4 times negative 3, negative 12. And then we got negative 9 times negative 2. That's positive 18 minus 6. Let's continue. 0 equals, what is negative 12 plus 18? 6. What is 6 minus 6? Is 0 equal to 0? Yes. That's how you check. That's one problem. That's how you do the homework. Yes. And that's why all year I've been working with you guys to show me all your work, because as we continue progressing, the steps increase. You guys notice that? Now check this out. But what is imperative? At the beginning here, that you open parentheses for your substitution, because if you don't, all this work is going to be wrong. Okay? Give me a second. All right. So check this out, guys. So this is using the quadratic formula. However, do you know how to solve this by factoring? Yes, right? So if I was to write this like this, everybody look up. Y equals negative 3x squared minus 9x minus 6. To solve that by factoring, what do? First step, you would change y to 0. Next, GCF. What is GCF here? Negative 3. We're left with x squared plus 3x plus 2. And all that equal to 0. Open two parentheses. Power Rangers. 3, 2. What are the factors of 2? 2 and 1. So this is x and x plus 2 plus 1. Bring down the negative 3, the equal, and the 0. And then we said each one of those equal to 0. 0 equal negative 3. X plus 2 equals 0. X plus 1 equals 0. Are we there so far? Is this true right here? X equal to negative 3. I mean 0 equal to negative 3. No. So we don't use this one. This, we finally got rid of the friend. This one. Solve for x. Negative 2, negative 2. X equals minus 2. Negative 1, negative 1. X equals negative 1. Isn't that the same thing that we got here?
Yeah.
So now you have two methods of solving a quadratic equation, either by factoring or now using what? The quadratic formula. Are we there? Oh, my bad. On some of them, it's going to say solve using the quadratic formula. On some of them, they're going to say use any method to solve. So you can either use the Power Rangers or you can either use the quadratic formula. Are we there? So with that said, copy this one down. Example 1. It's going to be good, right? Here we go. Copy this. Example 1. Example 1 says 2x squared plus 7x plus 5 equals 0. Copy that. And let's do this one together. Here we go. Step 1, write in standard form. Is it in standard form? Yes. Step 2, identify A, B, and C. Go ahead and do that by yourself, and then I'll do it right after. You have 13 seconds. Bless you. Okay, let's see. A, who said A equals 2? B is 7. And C is 5. So far, so good? Okay, next, write your quadratic formula. X equals minus B plus minus square root B squared minus 4AC over 2A. Next, open parentheses. X equals minus parentheses plus minus square root parentheses squared minus 4 parentheses parentheses over 2 parentheses. I'm going to start with A. A is 2, and that's found next to the 4 and next to the 2. Okay. From there, B is 7 and 7. C is 5. Are we there so far? Okay, let's simplify. X equals negative times 7, that's negative 7, plus minus square root. 7 squared is 49, minus 4 times 2, that's 8, times 5, that's 40, over 4. Are we there so far? Continue. X equals negative 7 plus minus square root. What is 49 minus 40? 9 over 4. X equals negative 7 plus minus square root of 9 is 3 over 4. Now at this point we write two of them, right? I'm going to write x sub 1. What do I write? Negative 7 plus 3 over 4. And what is the other one? X sub 2, negative 7 minus 3 over 4. Piece of cake, right? Yay! So what do we have left? Negative 7 plus 3, that's negative 4 over 4, which is what? Negative 1. Over here we have negative 7 and negative 3, that's negative 10 divided by 4, that is negative 2.5. Are we there so far? Do our graph. Thank you. So my x-intercept is negative 1. Here it is. The other one is, here's negative 2. Here's negative 3. 2.5 is about right there. 2.5. What is our y-intercept? Positive 5, which is up here. Let's graph our parabola. There it is. And we can check, right? No. Just put it together and give it to me in the... All right, here we go. Pens down really quick. Let me explain something. You're going to get some problems like this. Everybody look up. That's mainly the homework. But what if you end up with this? Everybody look up. You're going to end up with something like this. X equals negative 7 plus minus square root of 10 over 4. Think about it. Hold on. No. I'm saying you're going to do the whole work, and at the end, instead of having square root of 9, you might end up with square root of 10. But think about it. What is square root of 10? It's something decimal, right? For right now, I don't want you to find the decimal. What I want you to do at this point, I want you to do this. You're going to write your x sub 1 equals negative 7 plus square root of 10 over 4. And you box that. That's your first root. X sub 2 is negative 7 minus square root of 10 over 4. And that's your second root. Everybody see that? Hold on. Everybody see that? Okay, so make sure you do your homework using the quadratic formula where it indicates, or when it indicates to do it any other method. So a homework for your weekend is found on page what? 602, numbers 1 through 23 odd. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your homework. See you guys till Monday. Yes, get your party sign. Yay!